We're Jonathan and Jennifer from Well Traveled Life, and we're in Alotau, the capital of Milne Bay Province. We're in the southeastern part of the island country nation of Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea, or PNG, is the third largest island country in the world, encompassing almost 180,000 square miles and home to almost 9 million people. It shares its mainland island with Indonesia and then spreads out to the east towards the Solomon Islands. PNG was originally colonized by Britain and then was ruled by Australia, but they have established their sovereignty in 1975. It is still a member of the Commonwealth of Nations, with over 1,000 cultural groups, 800 languages, and as the home of a number of still undocumented species of plants and animals. This nation is diverse in every possible way. Nearly 40% of the population live in rural areas in traditional or customary social groupings. You might think of them as like clans or tribes, and they don't necessarily participate in the cash economy. Those who become skilled at hunting, farming, and fishing garner a great deal of respect, and we'll learn more about that from one of my tour guides.
Very good morning to you. Have a good day, ma'am.
The people of Papua New Guinea are considered Melanesian, which comes from the Greek word melas, meaning black, and nesoi, meaning islands. In Malay, the word Papua means frizzy-haired. For all their diversity, Papuans are still described by their physical traits. In Alotau, they jokingly call themselves size 28 because they are small in stature.
Actually, in Papua New Guinea, Milne Bay, they call us size 28 because we are very short.
When I got off the boat in Alotau, I met Madeline, who is a Youth Corps volunteer, and we spent the morning together.
We are actually volunteers who help to take the tourists around, guide them, show them where exactly they want to go to.
The lookout point that's at Middletown, and the local market, that's where we sell lots of vegetables, local food, and the craft area, that's where memorial is, the war monument.
But the most interesting ones are the outside sites, not in the town, the commercial center, but outside. The local sites, like we have villages where you see like how locals do stuffs, maybe traditional way of cooking, dancing or traditional dressing lifestyle, we'll say. We have beaches if you want to swim.
We also have
Resorts. We have two resorts. One is the driftwood and one is Tawali.
She explained that each year there was a large competition to see who could produce the most yams, and the winner was given gifts, money, and the respect of the community. We talked about fortnight gatherings when everyone would come to town with their harvest, and we also discussed the celebrations for deceased loved ones that took 2 to 3 years to plan and involved huge amounts of food, gifts, and gathering. So if you're coming by cruise ship, Alotau is a docking port and primarily a working port. It's not a tourist mecca. There are only 2 hotels in town, and neither of them would be considered a resort. But there are 2 resorts in the Milne Bay area. When you exit your ship, you're actually already in town, and it's a 30-minute walk to the market area. There's a grocery store along the way, a coconut processing plant, a bank, and then there are 2 market areas. The craft market is set out for tourists when the cruise ships are in town, and the covered market is for locals. As you enter the local market, on the right side is for covered market resale items and foods prepared at home for resale, and on the left you'll find fresh fruits and meats. The sale of these extra foods grown and made at home are often the only money people will make. With an annual per capita income of about $2,500, there are few jobs, and most people spend their days gardening, getting to town to sell their goods, and sitting with friends and visiting. There are oral traditions involving dance and storytelling, and music, costumes, and art. The kundu drum sets the beat of the nation, and dance expresses everything from historic reenactments to celebrations and ceremonies. I will share with you, It is really hot here, so bring water, wear sunscreen, and be prepared that walking 30 minutes to town is not a typical walk. It's really hot. Locals are so interested in the tourists and are really eager to engage. They aren't begging, though they do need money, so take time to stop and talk. English is widely spoken, and they were absolutely as interested in us as we were in them. I loved having Madeline with me. We collected some other friends along the way who wanted to talk, share their lives, and help me understand their world. So thank you to Thomas, Gordon, and all the kids who accepted friendship bracelets and visited with me while I was in town. You all have a friend in America forever. On our walk, we stopped at the Milne Bay War Memorial commemorating the first defeat on land of the Japanese, which turned the tide in the Pacific Theater during World War II. Our cruise and travel director, Daniel, had shared this poem about Fuzzy Wuzzy Angels Day, which is a tribute by an Australian to the many Indigenous people from Papua New Guinea who helped the Allies along the Kokoda Trail during the war. Again, I find it interesting that the Indigenous people are described by their physical characteristics. Many a mother in Australia, when the busy day is done, sends a prayer to the Almighty for the keeping of her son, asking that an angel guide him and bring him safely back. Now we see those prayers are answered on the Owen Stanley track. For they haven't any halos, only holes slashed in their ears, and their faces worked by tattoos with scratch pins in their hair. Bringing back the badly wounded, just as steady as a hearse, using leaves to keep the rain off, and as gentle as a nurse. Slow and careful in bad places on the awful mountain track, the look upon their faces would make you think that Christ was black. It's not a move to hurt the wounded. As they treat him like a saint, it's a picture worth recording that an artist's yet to paint. Many a lad will see his mother, and husbands, weans, and wives, just because the Fuzzy Wuzzies carried them to save their lives. From mortar bombs, machine gun fire, or a chance surprise attack, to safety in the care of doctors at the bottom of the track. May the mothers of Australia, when they offer up a prayer, mention those impromptu angels with their fuzzy wuzzy hair. While today the use of the term fuzzy wuzzy is not politically correct and would be considered a racial slur, I think at the time of the writing of the poem, it really was meant as a token of admiration for what the Papua New Guineans were doing to serve the soldiers in the war and do their part to bring about a peaceful end to that conflict. There are good swimming beaches 20 minutes outside of town that are reachable by taxi, and diving and snorkeling are popular activities. Combined with mustard fruit and lime powder, which is actually coral dust, the betel nut is chewed to provide a mild high. The calcium in the lime, when combined with saliva, turns the mouth bright red, and you'll see red boy, which is like the spit of this, on the streets. Chewing the nut used to be reserved for elders during traditional ceremonies, but it's now eaten by almost everyone, including children. Because of this, the nation has the highest incidence of oral cancer in the world. The largest city in Papua New Guinea, Port Moresby, has a ban on the betel nut with spot fines for users. But I still saw many signs of use, and Madeline was eager to show me how to chew it.
Betel nut.
Betel nut.
You have a sample.
Sorry. This the nut, but this the skin itself, but the nut I already removed it and chewed it. Okay. Actually, this is betel nut. This is lime.
It's made out of coral.
This the coral in the sea. Yeah.
So it's like
Actually, they ban it. So this is the betel nut. I already removed that. Come, give me the hard one. Okay, this is the nut, but this is the hard one. This is the soft one. Okay, there's another thing added to it. It's called mustard, but I don't have it. Do you have any mustard? No. Okay. Those three things put together. This is outcome.
That's the lime, that's the mustard.
Am I true?
She's gonna demonstrate what he is going to, and then it turns red.
Okay. This is the nut. Okay.
She's great.
Okay. This is the mustard. This is the thing that I didn't have. We mix it. This is the thing that makes it red, the coral.
Calcium. It's like calcium. It's a calcium.
Petronella Silver.
I'm Madeline Giaruar.
I'm rolling.
But Madeline, if you're watching this, I want you to take care of yourself. We were in Alotau on a Thursday, and I was amazed by how many children I saw. To be fair, it's almost summer vacation here, and this may have been exam week. Education is not compulsory, and Madeline explained that children went to school when they reached a certain height, not necessarily a certain age. I had somebody else tell me, no, that isn't true, that there is compulsory education for primary years, grades sort of 1 through 6, maybe even 1 through 8, and that the first 2 years of education are free, although parents do need to pay for uniforms and all of the school supplies, books, papers, and everything like that. Beyond primary school, students must pass tests and pay tuition to attend any more than 8 years of school. So I think you can get illiteracy is a problem, and it's especially so for women. While we found Papua New Guinea to be one of the economically poorest nations we visited, it is also one of the richest culturally. Roger, who's a minister of culture, was so eager to share his people's dance tradition. I felt very fortunate to sit with them, hear about their costumes and their dances. They were as excited to take pictures with me as I was to have photos with them. While these dancers are from a different part of the island, Roger is working to find ways for tourists to venture beyond Alotau, to go see life in the villages.
This one is 3 baht, made out of mega beer and tapak. That is customary. Parents, this one, some of the black, white one, orange, red melon. There are different type of beds. They have different type of colors. We cut them, cut some patterns, we make them better. Any patterns we can make it. And we thread them.
Loom is made out of 3 bucks. And this is wild banana. We thread them with these ones. And this one is for the ladies. And this balloon, this is where we for children when newborn babies. We load them inside. Until make them to sleep until they grow.
I love it.
This is we load food, like inside. Carry them to the house. Go for the feastings. We load peka inside. Go for feastings. This is our traditional bilum. Sago leaves.
Sago leaves? Sago palm?
This is our scare. Traditional scare.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
I'm Roger Toinea, actually from Milne Bay Tourism Bureau. I'm currently the culture events officer. I make sure that all the cultures and events that are taking place in Milne Bay, make sure they make the standard of the PNG culture. We have the 800 cultures in Papua New Guinea. But in Milne Bay Province alone, we have about 43. Of the 43, we have the currently dancing with the Dinibudi dancing culture group, which is also we have a maritime dancing cruise, and we also have the mainland dancing cruise. You can see them; they got beautiful feathers up on the ears because that's represent the cassowaries, the bird of paradise. Of course, we also have the maritime ones. They have their own unique culture on the island, and it's about 600 island in Milne Bay Maritime Province, 160 are inhabited.
I spent a couple of hours walking around town, but want desperately to go back and see what home life is like. Madeline couldn't understand why many tourists opted to go to souvenir shops rather than buy things from the craft market where people had actually made them. I tried to explain that it can be hard to say no to people that you know need money, and tourists are bothered by behavior that looks like begging, but I assure you, no one was begging. I was never asked for anything, but people did want to shake my hand. They wanted to say hello, they wanted to smile, they wanted to visit with me, and they for sure wanted to show me what they had made and what they were trying to sell. I hope that as we visit the most foreign of countries, we remember why we're there. We want to see, to learn, and understand. In order to do that, we must engage. We can't look through a window and see how people live. We can't buy Chinese imports and think we've connected with a culture, or walk past people and understand their plight. Though Madeline is a volunteer, I was grateful for her friendship and for the communication and history that she shared. Being a volunteer simply meant that she wasn't working for an agency or a company. Nobody else was making money off of her. I definitely paid her for her time with me, as her time is valuable, her knowledge was valuable, and her friendship was invaluable. I also gave friendship bracelets to many of the kids who caught my attention, and hope that as we go to the most remote parts of the earth, we make friends of the new people we meet. Leave behind something of ourselves so that we are ambassadors for the next visitors, and take something away that shows that we value their humanity and their culture. If you've enjoyed this video on Alotau, I hope you'll watch our video on the conflict islands, which are also in Papua New Guinea.